Alright, so I think I totally blew like what I just did and didn't record. So we're gonna play back a reenactment, a dramatic reenactment of what happened that I didn't hit the record button or something happened with the camera. So firstly, I got instructions with pictures, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop the oil pan and fix something that's wrong with the baffling that the owner said was installed incorrectly. So with pictures, can't go wrong, right? So then what we did is we removed bolts, and then we wrestled with the oil pan because it was really like glued the fuck on there, and we finally got it off. And then there was like tons of fucking sealant all over this thing that I'm probably gonna spend hours. God damn it, man. Fucking scraping this bullshit out of there. And it smells like E. But there's no goobers in there, which is good. So the owner will be happy about that. The engine looks healthy. There's no like real shiny stuff in there. And it doesn't smell bad, although it just smells like E. And yeah, so let's take a look at our oil pan and see what's going on. So this said that these sills were supposed to be not lost. So we're going to take them and put them back on the pan so they will not be lost. Okay, this is... So, I don't think it was anything wrong with it, and I think we just took the oil pan off for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So now we get to scrape the bottom of the engine and the oil pan and try to get it to seal back up. Because everything is installed exactly as the directions say to install. Minus me checking torque specs, which I don't really see a reason for that. I'll just double check to make sure it's kind of snug. Damn. Yep. Yep. Consultant with the boss man, and looking at the instructions and reading them back and forth, everything was good. So that's a win, you know. But sometimes it's like you know, we'll take off the wide angle lens and get the. So sometimes it's good. If you have a doubt, I guess it's better to be safe than sorry, because yeah, it is a road race car, and you know, especially a mistake in the oil pan, that could end badly. That can end badly for everyone. So let me show you this thing. It's pretty neat little oil pan thing. I've never seen this before. Of course, I just live in my own little box. So there's the front of the crankshaft and the pulley. So this is the oil pan box, or the oil pan area, and this guy here basically bolts onto this, and it's got a pretty tight gap around the outside. But then what it has is these little flip-flop, these little like they're almost like little silicone. They're not silicone. They're some kind of rubber. But I'm not AVE, so I'm not going to tell you what kind of rubber it is. But they flap down and let oil pour through them because they're, you know, add a little heft, and I guess that, you know, it helps block oil from shooting back up on your pulling hard G's. And this guy does that. He actually just blew his motor, I guess, last weekend at the Circuit of Americas, which is fucking awesome. I would love to be out there and have a chance to blow a motor at the Circuit of Americas. But you don't want to starve your engine for oil. So that's a cool little trick. I've seen it's kind of like the same thing I put on my Phoenix on my fan shroud. The CTS-Vs have that. My old Volvo wagon from '93 has that. Little let stuff flow by, but once the fans kick on, or this thing it sucks. It's it doesn't let stuff back up. So that's pretty neat. So no biggie. We're just gonna clean that oil pan up and clean the bottom of the engine up. And then we will throw on, I got some Honda Bond that'll work great for sealing that bottom up, and we'll throw that on and we'll be done with this project, and we'll move on to finishing up the heat wrapping everything. There's like a funny kind of lubricant kind of resin in here. I would assume that it's engine assembly lube. I think that it looks kind of like what Molly lube leaves behind. But now it's all gone, nice and shiny. Alright, so in the video just before, you probably saw me cleaning up this oil pan, and it wasn't that bad, but I did decide to go over that with the woven abrasive stuff, which is just it's kind of like Scotch-Brite with some kind of abrasive grit kind of stuff put inside it, kind of like stuck on the Scotch-Brite pad. So, this oil pan is still, so It's not going to do anything. It'll polish it up a little bit. It was really good at quickly removing the majority of the leftover sealant. Making short work of that. Just got to be sure to clean out the pan itself once you get done. Get all the boogers out, because you don't want leftover. Which one did I put in first? Is it you? Barely went in. Yeah, you don't want that stuff fucking just making a mess, getting in your oil passages. So just clean it out real good, and you'll be fine. It's blissful that Nico's just barely able to get a hold of. But it's better than working on CTSV, right? Those motherfuckers got no room. So I'm sure everybody knows, but if you take your fastener, once you kind of got it where you think is lined up, and rotate that bad boy counterclockwise as you're pushing against where it's supposed to seat at, and you hear it go click, that means the threads are lined up, and it'll kind of keep you from cross-threading it. Alright, so we got a pretty good layer of Honda Bond on there, and what we're going to do is just with the screwdriver, just kind of hand tighten this. In kind of a crisscross fashion. And we're not putting, hardly like 5 foot-pounds of torque on it, hardly nothing. And what we want to do is we just want to kind of squish out that Honda Bond to make sure it's kind of coating everything. And then once we got it kind of nice and evenly, we'll let it kind of set up. And once it's set up, then we'll come back and we'll torque them all down, and that way we'll assure that we have a really good oil-tight seal across the whole thing. And that'll be good. We got a little bit of Honda stuff on our BRZ, which was made with Toyota, so I think we've got all the major Japanese brands covered now. They're all represented in this collaboration. So yeah, we just dropped that down. It has everything it has supposed to have, and that's cool, and better safe than sorry. Cleaned all the leftover sealant off the pan and the bottom of the engine. Cleaned it up with some carb cleaner and put some Honda Bond on it and stuck it back on there. So we're going to let that stuff kind of cure with like real light torque, like I said, like maybe 5 foot-pounds of torque, just like a screwdriver, not even like really trying with the screwdriver, but just snugging it a little bit. And that will set up. It has been, I've done this stuff before, and it was 2006, so it's been 11 years. So I'm maybe a little rusty, but the theory is pretty much the same. Take wrap stuff, wrap it around parts that you don't want heat to get away from, and enjoy the benefits of that. So it not being my work, because usually I would just wrap this up and probably not give a whole lot of fucks. What I will do is take a quick look at the directions, just to make sure I'm not missing any steps, because it's not for me, it's for somebody else. Overlap instead of 1/4 inch. So it looks like we got like tons of this. I think we got 2 rolls here, And it's nice working with people who have rope mix because they actually provide you with what you need. And 3, so we got 3 boxes, and not too much to work with. So what I would like to do is put down a little like cardboard to work on, so we're not working directly on the cement, so we're not scratching up any of this wrap. So in a perfect world, it would be great just to keep it on the roll nice and tight, and just as you go, per foot. We're not going to have that option here. And what happens is it gets real tight down in here. So I think what we'll do is 1 foot to take us to there. That's pretty good. So because it's super tight in between these runners, what we'll do is I think we'll start wrapping from the tubes up into where it gets really tight, and then we'll just wrap it as one whole up to here, and then just wrap this top piece as one piece too. And that should work good because that really doesn't get close to anything, and it shouldn't affect anything really. But if I was to wrap these like as one piece all the way up to the Y, then I think it would be difficult to get this header bolt on the inside because of the way it lines up. It would kind of almost overlap that, and it'd just be kind of a pain in the ass. So hopefully we can get these guys. We'll go 2, we'll go 4 into 2 into 1 is what we'll work for. And it's got this handy dandy little guide here saying for X amount you need this much. So for our pipe of 2-inch wrap, we need, where's that telling me? 2-inch wide wrap per foot. Okay, so we need, it says 35 inches per foot. So we'll cut off. Okay, so for wrapping the headers, it's just wrapping the headers. You just start with the initial wrap and wrap over the stuff itself. It's not too terribly complicated. One thing I learned on the downpipe that I wish I would have figured out on the headers was take some copper head gasket spray and just dust them. You don't want to slime it on there because it'll make it worse, but if you just dust them, give it a second to kind of dry, that stuff is super tacky, and as you pull those wraps, it'll make nice tight wraps and keep it nice and tight. So yeah, it makes it just a little easier to work with. So, and be sure you're wearing gloves and stuff because it's fiberglass and it'll get itchy. I was pretty itchy, still itchy. So we'll just go ahead and skip forward and kind of get to the finished product. Alright, so I don't know, maybe an hour or so into it, and this is where we are. So we got one side wrapped up, kind of individual runners, and then this guy the same, as far as we could go on both sides, and then we kind of overlapped it and kind of wrapped it up there, and then we'll just go from the flange all the way down past where we kind of started wrapping into the other wraps. Yeah, that should be good. So that's a wrap. Okay, so getting the top part done wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty easy. Just wrapped it down and then back up. So we basically had double wraps all the way through, and we didn't even use a whole roll of this stuff, which is great. So there's 2 whole rolls that my homie can send back to whomever, I think Summit Racing, and get some money, get some motherfucking money back. So now we gotta figure out how to wrap this with this, which I think is really overkill. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to throw this up there and kind of see how it fits real quick, just to make sure that, I mean, I know that putting all this bulky wrap on sometimes can affect, you know, how it fits inside the engine bay. So we'll just double check that real quick, and I don't know, we'll think about this roll here. Alright, so we are insulated and insulated again. So there will be coming no heat be coming off them headers into the engine bay. So yeah, there's double wraps, triple wraps. It's like these headers are going to have sex in a third world country or something. So we're good, and I had to massage the radiator support a little bit. It's right meow, which you can't see, and so that's good. So that took, what time is it? So that took a bit, but I think we'll wrap that up, and all that's left tomorrow is just reassembling and running some winds, and we can button this up. Yay! Alright, as always, thanks for dropping by and watching. We appreciate your support. We're over that magic 20 minutes, so get ahead and wrap this guy up, and we'll hit it up the next episode with getting everything back in the car, and it will be close to moving out of the shop. So thanks very much. Appreciate your support.